Hey Matt, how's it going?
Not too shabby, Jamon. Not too shabby.
Awesome. Where are you located?
I'm in Oxford,
Oxford.
so
Okay.
or just south of Oxford in the UK.
Okay.
Where are you
Cool.
located, actually?
I'm in the Pacific Northwest. I'm over just
Okay.
north of Portland, Oregon. I don't know. Have you been in
Okay.
that area before?
I have been to New York once when I
Mm-hmm.
was 14,
Right.
and next week, on Monday, actually, I'm going to Utah for the
Okay.
first. So I'll be going to the
Closer.
States for the first
Yeah.
time in 17 years, so a little bit closer to you. So I'm going to a Remix Run conference there,
Yeah. Nice. That'll be
which should,
fun. Got
should be
got
a
a chance to
blast.
hang
Yeah.
out with those guys at
Yeah.
Reactathon a little
It's
bit
my
ago.
first tech conference, actually, my first in-person tech conference, which is kind of
Nice.
crazy. I
That is
know, because
awesome. Yeah.
I kind of I started doing this stuff and started wanting to go to conferences sort of
Right.
just when COVID hit,
Right.
right? So did a lot of remote conferences, did a talk with React Finland, like remote, but this is my first time actually going and meeting these people that I've known from Twitter and
Right.
stuff. It's crazy.
It's so
Yeah.
fun. It's super fun.
Yeah.
It's like it's the best. You get to know people in one context on Twitter. You get to know
Mm.
people in another context if you do a Zoom call or a stream like this. Hopefully,
Mm.
we'll get to know each other a little better.
Yeah.
Um, but when you spend a couple days, you know, with seeing people regularly, hanging out with them at night, going to restaurants, stuff like that, it's just a whole different vibe. It's so
Yeah.
awesome.
When was the last one you went to?
So I was at Reactathon, which David
Oh, cool.
uh, Khurshid was there too, and
Yeah.
it was awesome. That was the first one in like probably since late 2019, so 2.5 years.
Mm.
And so that was just like a month ago, and that
Crazy.
was awesome. Really enjoyed that.
Yeah, a whole bunch of my team were there. So
Yeah.
for folks who are just tuning in, I work at Stately, and
Hmm.
Stately is kind of David Khurshid's brainchild, basically.
Yeah.
He's founded a company that's all about state machines and state charts and building tooling around them
Hmm.
and bringing them to the masses, basically. And
It's
I'm
so cool.
keen to show you it today.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna be hacking on that. Cannot wait.
Yeah.
Hey Derek, see you in the chat there. So yeah, I mean, it's like I remember talking to David. We met for the first time at React Finland, and
Mm.
I remember talking to him, and he had these ideas, and he was kind of kicking around this. But I don't think Stately didn't exist yet. That was something that kind of came a little bit later. I think he was still
Mm.
working at Microsoft. I want to say at that
Hmm.
time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was at Microsoft until I think like May last year, I think actually.
Yeah.
And what he did was he'd been sort of saying, I'm thinking about forming this company. If I did, would you be
Yeah.
interested in joining? And he was like, okay, I'm talking to investors, talking to people, and then like a week later, he was like, I'm quitting Microsoft. I've got a week's notice. I'm doing it. It
I'm
was
doing this.
crazy. I'm doing this. And it was so far, because in the UK, like you have a lot longer notice periods.
Yeah.
But my notice period was like 2 months.
Right.
Whereas his was a week. And he was just like, okay, we're doing it next week.
Let's do
Starting.
this.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Why is that? Is this like a cultural thing or
I think
what?
I don't know. We like employee protections, I guess. I
Yeah.
don't
Well,
know.
there's that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
There's
We
that.
we're like, walk across these spikes that are rusty and I'll pay you $1.50.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, it's a big culture. It's a kind of culture shock though. It's my first
Yeah.
time like working for an American company too. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like David's so accommodating. The
Oh
whole
yeah.
company
Yeah.
is great. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Totally. That's
nice
awesome.
vibe.
Hey, Darren, I see you there in the chat as well. Thanks for hanging out with us. Matt has joined me, and I'm super excited about this. So, for those of you who are joining, we're letting some people kind of filter in here. But we're going to be hacking on an Ignite app that I've been working on. It's just for my family, nothing big.
Nice.
But I have an auth flow in it, and I've made it more complicated than probably needs to be.
Cool.
And I can't wait because we are going to be refactoring that. Hey, Chan Man. Hey, Rouse. It's the Rodney Mullen of TypeScript.
Yeah. This is my moniker. This is my Twitter bio. This
Yeah.
is what I was. I was there's a quote tweet from Wes Boss, like
Okay.
way back in like 6 months ago, where I helped him with some TypeScript.
Yeah.
And he called me the Rodney Mullen of TypeScript. And so I've been trading off that little like throwaway phrase for the last 6 months.
You're kind of known for it, TypeScript, I should say, and I love your videos. I think they're just the best. Man. They're so good. For one thing, you can do your own voiceovers. You have this amazing accent. You used to be like a voice coach, right?
Yeah, that's right. I was a voice coach for 6 years, so that involved. I can feel the pressure too to start talking with this beautiful tone. And
you just talk like you normally do. I'm over here sounding like
I normally do. Yeah, sure.
So yeah, I was like, I was a singing teacher. I was a voice coach. I was an accent teacher as well. And I went to school for that as well. So I did a master's in it, and then I started making apps for my students, and spiraled and spiraled and spiraled, and I quit my job there to go full time.
That's amazing. So you were like were you like into computers as a kid, or was this a late blooming thing? Okay.
Yeah, it felt like I was coming back around to something that I'd loved when I was a kid. I remember like I had this like basics book, learn HTML in 5 basic steps or something. And I would just like, I remember just like sitting down and writing down the tags from memory. You know what I mean? Like I remember loving it. And I just sort of took a big detour into like drama and singing and all this sort of stuff. But now I'm coming back to my nerd roots. It feels good. Well,
I think that you're using your talents for good. In fact, actually, hey Todd, thanks for joining on the YouTube side. That's my business partner and our CEO. So everybody be good, because he's watching. Chanman says, how's the TS course going, Matt?
It's good. If you go to mattpocock.com, you can see that I'm collecting emails for a TS course that I'm going to be launching, which is called Advanced TypeScript. And it's going good. I mean, I'm like fighting against the clock basically, because I've only got so many hours in the day. I've got a busy conference season coming up, so it's unlikely to be out in the next sort of 6 weeks or something. But I'm looking to release the first module pretty soon. They're
a lot of work, but like I said, you're using your skills with your just obviously your tech background, but also your performing arts background, or whatever you might call it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's all coming together.
Yeah, coming together. Exactly. Rouse says flex. He can flex his vocal cords. Flexbox, by the way, he's here. He put an emoji in there. I don't know what it is. That a wave? Oh, he's just saying hi. Okay.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Kate
he's
says,
waving.
Yes, yeah. That's David. He's awesome. If you ever get a chance to meet David, he's fantastic. He sometimes does these. He sometimes goes to conferences and does these like drawings of, or like not drawings, but like, what do you call them, Flexbox? You're gonna have to help me out here. He like draws what the speaker is talking about.
Oh, okay. That sounds cool.
Yeah. Kate says hello. That's our junior, soon to be not junior, who is doing fantastic. Ahmed. Hey, Jamon and TypeScript legend.
TypeScript legend. That's big. Yes. I'd go for icon instead of legend, maybe.
Right. Yeah. Iconic TypeScript.
Iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John Major from Infinite Red says, hey, sketch notes. That's what they call them. Okay. So yeah, he does sketch notes. They're really cool. Okay. So let's set the stage a little bit here. I've never shown this app on stream, so I'm taking a risk now by showing it. It's an app called FamSpace. And what it is like a family management app. So I have 4 kids, ages 8 to 17, and we use a variety of different tools to communicate. We have text, but that's only with the older 2 because they have iPhones and the younger 2 don't. We use Messenger and Messenger Kids, which includes the younger ones, but that has certain limitations. We use Slack as a family, but have gotten very well, for one thing, some of the devices that I use for the younger kids are old and Slack won't install on them. So that literally just leaves out the youngest one because her iPad's too old. I could get her obviously something new, but like why, like, and I downloaded an app called, I downloaded an app called, what is it called? Family Wall. And it's pretty good. It actually checks all the boxes of everything that I had written down that I wanted in a family management app. It like literally hits them all. But it's clunky and it doesn't work quite right. And my wife doesn't really like it. And if she doesn't like it, she's not going to use it. And if she doesn't use it, then what's the point? You know?
Yep.
So, by the way, John Major says, we tried Slack for the family. I thought it was great, but everyone was confused. It's true. That's exactly what happened. And by the way, just a little side, Rouse says, I see everyone worshiping Matt in the chat. Is he that famous in the TypeScript community?
I am that famous. Yeah. I am so famous that you've never even heard of me. Yep.
Matt is a more recently known. Actually, I've seen you around longer, but like I feel like a lot of people got to know you through your TypeScript. What do you call them? Short
TypeScript tips. Yeah, I just did.
TypeScript tips,
I did my first TypeScript tip in March, I think, and I was at like 3,000 followers on Twitter or something, and I just kept posting them. Did like 3 a week for about 4 weeks.
Yep.
And so in 2 months or something, I went from 3,000 followers to like 25,000. It just went crazy. So yeah, I was like hanging around, like I was just a little hanger on before then. You know, but now I'm like, I don't know. It's just crazy. Like it doesn't feel particularly real, and it just feels like something's working there. So I'm very grateful, really.
It's quality content, and I would say that you're at 23.9. You blew way past me. I had to do like 60,000 tweets to get to that level. But I think it hits like I focus a lot on React Native, but that's a fairly niche market, in the Twitter community. So there are people who are very passionate about it, like me, and they're going to follow me. But like TypeScript is something that is just taking over the world.
It's wild. Actually, it's really wild. I was mostly focusing on the XState community before as well. So I'm part of the XState core team. And XState is got great, like really small, really focused, really smart community. It's like hanging out in like a conference hallway, hanging out with them. Like it's just so cool. And then I just started tweeting about TypeScript, and just TypeScript has just like 200 times the size of community. Like
it's huge.
They're so into it, and it's so everything you say is almost a touch point as well. So people start arguing about it, which the algorithm loves. So it just feels like I'm sort of, I don't know, I'm just sort of pressing like a little cheat button or something talking about TypeScript. Everyone's into it.
I feel like when your Twitter account blows up like that, there is a danger that you're not used to it. You're not used to having that level of so you'll say something that you totally would say no problem with 3,000 followers. And all of a sudden it's a controversy because this big person is now saying you have to do this, and it's a threat to a lot of people. Yeah, and it can be really disconcerting.
I'm not used to it, and I've not had enough time, I think, to screw up like that. But I surely will at some point. I will. Yeah. It's unforgiving, definitely.
But you're a very pleasant guy, and I think that helps. That's in your favor, and people want to follow people who aren't like jerks. So that's good. Catching up with the chat here. Flexbox says we send people to the moon, but we can't install Slack on the iPhone 6. Loving the XXI Sentry. Rouse says, sorry, I'm new to CS, computer science, I assume, and I'm not really interested in web dev, but now I know. Yeah, so XState, one of the cool things about XState is it's beyond just web dev. You can use it in React Native. You can use it in a lot of different places. Can you give me kind of the elevator pitch for XState, Matt?
Sure. So XState is basically the idea that you can code anything with boxes and arrows. XState is a visual medium primarily. And what that means is that you can basically build something out of what's called state charts, and you can use them to execute your code. The coolest thing I can possibly show you is if you go to stately.ai/editor. And this is something that we've been working on. Yeah, stately.ai/editor. And what this is a visual builder for state machines and state charts. And this is so cool because if you you can just click inside that thing there and like pull it around and stuff. if you double click inside the big black box, you can you can create a new state or something like that. Like that, rename it, that sort of thing. So like a lot of what we're going to be doing today is kind of messing about with this tool. This is all this is in beta, by the way, so there'll probably be bugs.
Yeah.
But we've got a team of developers that can come fix them. We can report issues that we find and that sort of thing. And so the idea here is that you can use these boxes and arrows. And if you go into export in the top, in fact, you might need to sign into Stately first, actually.
Okay.
So there's like in the top right, if you press sign in.
Just so the audience knows, Matt, although Matt and I are talking in real time, his view of my screen is lagging just a bit because he's watching on YouTube as well, and so he may be just a tiny bit behind. He's not he's not being slow himself. It's just the feed. I will actually, by the way, Theo, who created ping.gg, I had him on the stream a while back. He actually just enabled screen sharing between ping guests, so I will be fixing that in future streams.
Nice.
But yeah, go ahead, Matt. Sorry about that.
Cool.
So I am signed in.
I'll try and envisage where you are. I'll try and see into the future.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So now that you're logged in, you should be able to press export in the top right. And what that'll do is you can press like export to JSON or whatever it is, and it will export a JSON object, which allows you to copy that into the code. And in fact, now you're in code. I can see exactly what you're doing too. And this will basically, you can use this in your code to power your state machines.
Yep.
And a state machine is basically like state machines themselves give all sorts of benefits. They're kind of famous for being visualizable, first of all. So you can actually look and see what you're doing. And also it sort of makes you be very explicit about your app's code, and kind of it pushes you into the pit of success where you don't allow impossible things to be possible. And it's really, really good at complicated stuff. So if you have something complex in your app, you should probably be thinking about state charts and Stately's tooling to help you out.
Exactly. Let me catch up on chat really quick. Dax, hey there. Daniel says, cool, I love that visual way to create state machines. Rouse says, isn't it kind of like high-level automatons?
High-level automatons? I don't know what that
I don't know what that is. Yeah. You're going to have to explain, Rouse. Automata, not sure, actually. Dax says, didn't we just watch React in the Park about how all of our apps, especially web apps, are massive, inefficient state machines, and there are better patterns to follow? This is a great tool, but I think new devs should be careful. Are you talking about David's talk, by the way, Dax? Because that's the guy who who's behind this.
That's my boss. Yeah.
Yes. So the answer is yes, we did just watch it, but this is his response to that.
His solution, yeah.
Yasina says, why is the quality only 720p in YouTube? Is that right, Matt? Can you check that?
Ooh.
Are we only at 720? That would suck.
Disgusting if so. Potato quality.
My bad on that, if that's the case.
Yeah, it is only 720.
No. No. Why would that be? Okay, before we go any further, I'm going to check and see what is going on here. This is not good.
Nice.
Restream.
Daxudo says, oh, well, hot damn. Yeah, hot damn indeed.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, actually. Like I can vamp while you're fixing
it. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So like a lot of I think your initial comment about how all our apps are like kind of inefficient implicit state machines is totally true. Like if you've ever been on Reddit, for example, and like you go and like you click to view a page, like often there was like a whole year or something where the first thing you would see when you click that page was the 404 message, like while it was loading, you know? So what would happen is you would basically 404 and then you would receive the page, which is totally crazy messaging if you're a user and you're watching that. And the reason is they probably had something in their app's code that was like, if there's no data, then show the 404 message, you know? Whereas in fact, the data had just not been loaded yet. And you can get around this, but what it means is that most of your app code, especially if you're using React or or to be honest, any web framework that does sort of like consistent re-renders, you're going to run into these issues because you're not being forced by your framework to consider all the possible states. So that's kind of what certainly what David was getting at. In Ping, are you pulling the screen share from a URL or a screen recording? You may have to enable high quality previews in Ping.
That's a good question, but it's not Ping. It's me. I apparently somehow ended up on 720 when I created this. So we have a choice here, folks. We can stop the stream and I start the stream again with better resolution, or we forge ahead how it is. How readable... let me just go to this here, and how readable is this? I'm not able to tell on my end. So would it be better for me to restart the stream?
I'm just checking. It might be worth a restart. Yeah.
Okay.
What does it cost us if we restart?
Mainly, everybody gets kicked out, and you're gonna have to come back.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to come back.
Let's test how committed they are.
Yeah,
let's
we'll see how committed.
Weed out the crap ones.
Exactly. We'll do a tiny re-intro when we come back, just for the people who are only watching on YouTube later. Dax says that he's on mobile. Ahmed says it looks good. Chanman says the quality looks good watching on a TV. The Andre says not great on my side. I think I'd rather get a little better quality though, folks. So so we're gonna stop the stream. I'm gonna start the stream again, this time with a better quality, and hopefully it works. So